you seen Star Wars?
The legendary Dave Filoni, who is beloved in the Star Wars fandom, will be writing and directing the next episode of The Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 6. Does this mean big cameos? Can he pull off the ending to the series? Let's discuss what we can expect. But before we do, please leave a like on today's video, and if you're one with the Force, subscribe to the channel to support me. Dave Filoni recently added a little bit more experience to his resume. He's directed 3 episodes of The Mandalorian so far, Chapter 1, the series premiere. That episode was written by Jon Favreau. Chapter 5 was written and directed by Dave Filoni, and that was notably one of the weaker episodes of The Mandalorian. But with the recent Book of Boba Fett series, we can now see how important that episode was, Chapter 5. But the biggest episode Dave directed was Chapter 13. He wrote and directed that, and it was The Jedi, which featured the return of Ahsoka Tano and also had her live-action debut. Now, looking back on these episodes, we can kind of pick up on a pattern of writing and directing that may give us a hint on what we can expect from his upcoming Book of Boba Fett episode. The biggest expectations to me is simply cameos. I mean, using his first episode where he had the most control, which was Chapter 5, and in that episode he really utilized nostalgia and what I like to call member berries. You remember this thing, well, you like it because you remember it from the last time you saw it. And Dave is known for tying things together, using cameos to progress the story while making the universe feel really connected. If I were a betting man, I would bet that we would see at least 2 major cameos in the upcoming Book of Boba Fett episode. There's been some rumors on cameos like Bossk showing up, or even someone more notable like Cad Bane showing up in this Book of Boba Fett series. We've seen characters like Black Chrysanthemum, or bounty hunters like Black Chrysanthemum, show up and make cameos, and then we have other bounty hunters like Boba Fett, Fennec, and Mando, and that's not exactly the best bounty hunters of all time, but altogether they are extremely powerful. But you would imagine Boba trying to get some muscle, he would want a little bit more, so Bossk or Cad Bane would be really cool to see. The return of Cad Bane in his debut in live action seems highly likely from Dave Filoni, mainly because it is a Dave Filoni episode, but also we saw Cad Bane in The Bad Batch, and that's not entirely under Dave Filoni's control, but we know he had influence in that. And after the recent episode that only focuses on the Mandalorian Din Djarin, many fans think this next episode, Chapter 6, is going to have to go all out in order to really get the story moving, and I tend to agree with that. But with the recent curveball of an episode that we got, which was Chapter 5, I think we may get another surprise in Chapter 6 by our boy Dave. I truthfully wouldn't be surprised if the next episode featured Luke Skywalker alongside Grogu. This, of course, is kind of obvious. It's in reference to Din Djarin saying he's got to go see Grogu before he helps Boba. I don't think an entire episode will be dedicated to him doing this, at least after he already stole an entire episode from Boba Fett in this last episode. But I think the beginning or the middle of this next episode will have Luke and Grogu reunite with Din Djarin. A big question will be, is Boba with them? I mean, why would he be with them is the question. Is he going to look for more muscle as well? I don't see why in that venture he has to go with Din to go see Grogu and Luke Skywalker. I mean, that would be kind of cool. An actual interaction with Luke and Boba could be very interesting, but also hearing what Luke has to say about Grogu's training or the situation with the Jedi Order. But in general, this is the Book of Boba Fett, so I don't really see the relevance of Boba going with Din to get Grogu. So I ran a scoop sometime last year that Maz's castle will be in the Book of Boba Fett series, and I also in that scoop included that we will also be seeing Luke Skywalker appear in this series. Now, people took it this way, and I didn't mean it to come off this way. People thought that I meant that we would see Luke, and I even said Han Solo's coming back because he is, but they said that we would see Luke and Han at Maz's castle. That's not what I meant at all, but I just meant that we're going to go to Maz's castle, and also for some reason or another, Luke and Han are going to be in this series at some point. But now I think that surprisingly, Luke being at Maz's castle could actually be a very real possibility. I mean, Dave loves taking us back to familiar places. The first episode he got to write, he took his story back to Mos Eisley Cantina the very first chance that he got. And Dave using the Clone Wars to make the prequels a more engaging story and make the universe feel more rich in storytelling and what you can tell in the Star Wars universe. And I could see Dave using Maz's castle to establish that same connection to the sequel trilogy. What would make the most sense to me is that if we see Boba meet up with some old bounty hunter friends like Bossk at Maz's castle and maybe accidentally run into Cad Bane as well, and for some reason Din Djarin comes with them and maybe that's the rendezvous he uses to meet Luke and Grogu. I'm not sure. I doubt that's exactly what's going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do go to Maz's castle in order to pick up more bounty hunters. Dave's episodes always have some breadcrumbs to follow down the road. If you remember chapter 1 of The Mandalorian, it wasn't written by him, so I'm not going to count that because it didn't really have any cliffhangers other than at the end you saw Grogu, you saw Baby Yoda. But if you look at the other episodes that Dave Filoni has done, chapter 5 had the ending with Boba walking up the Fennec's body. And that basically started the return of Boba Fett to the Star Wars universe. Chapter 13 saw Ahsoka's live-action debut, but more importantly, the ending gave us a big hint of Thrawn coming into the hunt. He's the one that Ahsoka is looking for, and so that is a big reveal, and that leaves, like I said, breadcrumbs to future storytelling possibilities. I think that means it's a very safe bet that this next episode will have some major implications for either Season 3 of The Mandalorian, Season 2 of the Book of Boba Fett, or the Ahsoka Tano series, maybe all of it in one. But I just think that Dave is going to find some way to make this episode extremely memorable and give us a big hint on the future aspects of Star Wars and where this story is inevitably going. He always makes things memorable. It's really nice to have Dave involved in these kind of projects. I think Din will yet again be a major influence on the episode that Dave writes and directs. Maybe not take over the entire episode, but possibly most of it. I just think that Dave knows what Star Wars fans really want and crave right now, and that can be good and that can be bad. But regardless, he always delivers on his episodes that are very unique and they're very engaging in conversation. We always talk about Dave Filoni's episodes a lot more than some of the other episodes. But tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys expect from this upcoming chapter of the Book of Boba Fett? Does Dave Filoni give you the confidence that he can pull it off? Do you think we're going to see Cad Bane? Do you think we're going to see Bosk? Maybe Luke? Maybe Han? Maybe Grogu? Maybe all of them? Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like to support the channel and subscribe to stay up to date on the latest news in Star Wars. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and don't forget to check out the Tatooine shows on Wednesday nights. All of that is in the description below. I'm Star Wars Only. I will see you all next time, and may the Force be with you always.